friends, Jenna. Sinful celluloid. The blood rose. Have I got some shenanigans for you today? We begin. Ruins, a chateau on a lake. Two very depressed-looking gentlemen are waiting in some sort of library. One is the artist. He's very important. Another one we're just going to call Shellac, because his hair is all shellacked to his head. They are waiting for Dr. Briefcase to come downstairs, presumably with some bad news. What could have happened? Let me introduce you to our mystery. Flashback to an art gallery. Shellac runs the place. His old friend Bouffant comes in. Big hair. She saunters in, blah 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 paintings, blah 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 art. Hook me up with the artist. The artist. Dude's like, can you just let it alone, please? Cut to Bouffant in bed with the artist. They have totally hooked up. She's totally using him for his connections. Do you, girl. Do what you gotta do. You know? Cut to he's not exactly faithful. Who'da thunk? She's setting up a costume party, and he goes to a costumer's to get his costume. He runs into a gal dressed as Scarlett O'Hara. They fall madly in love instantly. He blows off Bouffant's party to have some snacks with Scarlett O'Hara. And by snacks, I mean he invites her back to his place so he can paint her buck-ass naked. Turns out he ditches Bouffant for Scarlett O'Hara, takes her to his chateau, which we saw in the very beginning of the movie, and she's like, darling, can we please live here forever? And he's like, darling, I love you so much, of course we can. She runs around to kind of check it out, runs into Thing 1 and Thing 2, the creepy, creepy, creepy dudes who are the caretakers of this joint when the artist isn't around. Honey, I can't believe I forgot to tell you about Thing 1 and Thing 2. They're all family friends, don't worry about them. Later, they've gotten married, the artist and Scarlett, and they're about to have a big party to celebrate, and guess who shows up to ruin all the fun? Bouffant. And she's dressed like the Queen of Hearts, with one of those big, massive dresses with the whole thing going on. She's got murder in her eyes. She comes up to Scarlett, very upset that she has basically stolen her man, and backs Scarlett up into it. There's a massive, massive bonfire behind her. We're talking like, you're gonna burn yourself. How can you not feel the heat at your back? Backs her into it. That bitch catches on fire, and when I say she catches on fire, she gets crispy. So now we know why Shellac and the artist are waiting for the doctor. Cut to present day now. Dr. Briefcase comes downstairs and is like, it's a miracle she's still alive. She's paralyzed from the waist down. Her body is severely burned. She can't really see. It's all blurry. Also, by the way, her face is horribly disfigured. And we all know ladies are only worth anything if they're pretty. So, artist falls into a deep depression, not because his wife is in pain, but because she's now disfigured, he has lost his muse and his mojo to paint. Cut to a greenhouse. I don't know either, guys. Greenhouse. And there's a nefarious plot involving crossbreeding plants, probably poisonous, probably don't eat it if somebody offers you to eat some plants. So don't touch them because you'll prick your fingers and die. They get Thing 1 to bring one of the plants into the house. This is basically Chekhov's plant. It is going to come back and do Chekhovian things. Shellac comes back to the chateau. It's been a little while, and he's like, "Guy, I need you to take over for me at the institute." The artist throws a temper tantrum and is like, "I'm no good to anyone. My wife is a hideous monster, and I can't paint." Of course, she overhears them. That can't feel too good. Shellac is like, "I'm not taking no for an answer. You have to go. I will bring a nurse in to take care of your wife." He brings a nurse in. Meanwhile, our girl Scarlett has turned into a heinous bitch. She's been horribly traumatized, and she has a philandering husband, and she doesn't feel good about herself. Her husband takes the nurse off. He's like, my wife doesn't pay attention to me anymore because I treat her like shit. He decides to just hook up with a nurse and grabs her boob and is like, Cool, let's do this. Of course, the wife sees him. She plots to, once her husband goes off to his institute, whatevers, she calls Nurse into her abode. Hello! Welcome! Look at this Chekhov's plant. Could you please water it? And oh, while you're at it, make sure you get in there real good in the leaves. Prick yourself, basically. Which the nurse does and immediately falls to the ground and dies. Artist comes back just in time to see the dead body on the floor. Wife, Scarlett O'Hara, how could you do this? Artist, you're a terrible person and you don't love me anymore. I was jealous of her beauty. Of course I did it because I'm an insane person now. Let's bury the body. Thing 1 and thing 2, ring-a-ding-ding. Come in here with your shovels. We need you to bury a body. So they do. Somehow Artist gets wrapped up with these greenhouse botanists. One of the guys was a surgeon, okay? It's very convoluted. It's not anything that I want to know in my brain. He follows one of the botanists to his place of residence, confronts him and is like, I've heard you talking about weird things. What is going on? Also, I've deduced from my artistry and artisterly powers that you have done surgeries on mobsters and changed their faces. I don't know where any of this came from, but it's turned into a face-off situation, okay? Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, in the house, switch faces. And he's like, my wife is horribly disfigured. I know I faked her death because I'm really embarrassed by her. Do you think you could possibly come to my house and do like a face-off surgery on my wife? Just pick a lady from the audience, trap her in our house and slice her face off so you can put it on my wife. The surgeon is like, I mean, okay. He doesn't feel good about it, but he's gonna do it. He brings the surgeon back to his chateau. At the same time, they have forged a letter. The nurse's sister has tried to check up on the nurse, and the nurse obviously is dead. They faked a letter back to her saying, I don't work here anymore. Sorry, I didn't tell you where I went. Peace. Sister doesn't believe it. She's like, I need to go to the chateau and find my sister. She arrives in town. All of their nefarious plots with the face-off have failed, by the way. Thing 1 and thing 2 chase the sister through the woods on her way to the chateau. Artist invites her inside for dinner, tries to get her a little bit drunk, probably wants to grab her boobs too. And thing 1 and thing 2 come in and she's like, I know you guys from when you creepily chased me through the woods. Can you explain what's going on here? No, we can't. How about you just go up to your room and everything will be fine? Guess what? It's not fine. They attack her. She tries to get away, doesn't get away. They tie her up. They're going to off her face. Time for some surgery, guys. Time for some face-off surgery. She pleads and pleads and pleads and begs with the surgeon. The surgeon is already a little bit onto her plight. He feels bad for her. She convinces him not to do the surgery, but the way you find out, he hangs himself. They find his dead body before he's had a chance to complete the surgery. Scarlett O'Hara flies off on a tangent. She's all, I'll never go hungry again because I'm going to eat my feelings because I can't get a new face now. She attacks thing 1 and thing 2. Thing 1 and thing 2 toss her out of her wheelchair, try to beat her to death. The artist is like, do it. I'm real sick of this lady. I can't take it anymore. Feel free to kick the shit out of her. They kill her. Thing 1 fights with the artist. He gets a big pointy stick and stabs him right in the chest with it. Sister manages to get free. The surgeon is dead. Thing 1 dies. Thing 2, I'm pretty sure, dies. Horrible Scarlet dies. The artist is dying. He's like, get out of here. I'm not going to try to take your face anymore. So the sister runs. Artist calls the police, calls in the murders. Hey, I'm responsible. There's a bunch of dead bodies here. Goes upstairs to kind of paint his final masterpiece, which is a portrait of his wife and the way she used to look. And scene. Guys. The blood rose. Moral of the story, don't cheat on a crazy person who's going to shove your new wife into a bonfire, horribly disfigure her, then she'll snap, turn into a murderess. You will go along with it because you're a spineless bitch, and in the end, everyone's gonna die and it's gonna be your fault. This is Jenna. Sinful Celluloid. More of these. The blood rose. Go watch Face Off instead!